Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum students. Welcome to our class. I'm your instructor Adil Raza, and today we have to start our new chapter from grade 6, and it's our unit 8, and it's our first lecture of this lesson. So let's find out what we have to learn today, what our SLO is. So we have to learn about the competency of grammar, and it's our lecture 1, and the lecture is actually centered upon the phrases and clauses. So let's read the SLO. The SLO is differentiate between phrases and clauses. So in this SLO, we will try to understand what are phrases and what are clauses and how they are different from each other. So here is the vertical linkage in the previous classes. In the previous class, you guys will definitely have go through this SLO. Let's go further. Here is a brainstorming session. So let's find what we have to do in the brainstorming session. So here, what do you think is the difference between a group of words that makes a sense or its own and one that doesn't? So have you ever noticed that language is consist upon words, and a group of words can make a larger part of language, but there are two types of group of words. One group of words do not make any sentence, and the second make a sense. So that group of word which makes a sense is considered as a clause, and that group of word which don't make any sense is considered as phrase. So we have to understand what the phrases and clauses are. So let's find out. Let's read the definition of phrases and clauses. So phrase, a group of words which make sense but not complete sense, is called a phrase. Like we can say that a dog is a phrase, we can say that a cat is a phrase, an apple is a phrase. They all are noun phrases. So they don't make the complete sense. They just present some meaning, some sort of meaning. Let's suppose we can say that with the head, with the dog. So they are phrases, but they are not making the complete sense. That's why they are supposed as phrases, and it is written on the page 64 of our book. So in the other hand, what the clauses are? What is a clause? A clause is also a group of words which forms a part of sentence and contains a subject and predicate, is called a clause. So clause is a mannered group of words which containing a subject and a predicate at least. So what is a predicate? In any sentence there has to be two parts. One is subject and other is predicate. Let's suppose we will take an example of a simple sentence. Let's say that we can say that he runs. So in this sentence, it is a subject. The first noun, the pronoun, is considered as subject, and other than the subject, the whole sentence is considered as predicate. The part of the sentence which actually describes the subject is called predicate. So a clause is a group of word which has to be consist upon a subject and a predicate. So that's why clause is very much different from the phrases. Clauses makes the complete sense. Clauses contains a subject and verbs. That's why the phrases are the shorter chunks of language, but the clauses are more complex chunks of, or we can say that the group of words in a language, because they can consist, they can supposed as a complete sentence, but the phrase don't make the complete sense, and that's why they are not considered as a sentence. So let's go further. I hope you guys have understand what the clause and phrase are. Let's take an example. Like we can say that from the poem to the heartwood. So to the heartwood is actually a propositional phrase. We can say it PP, but it don't make a complete sense. But on the other hand, there we have an example of a clause from the poem. You saw can fall me. Your saw can fell me. Your saw can fell me. So in this clause, it's subject and it is predicate because it is describing or defining the subject, and this clause is making a complete sense and can be a sentence. So that's why it's a clause, because it has the sense, it has the meaning, it can be a complete sentence. But the phrase is, it is phrase because it's just a group of words and not making a complete sense or making a sentence. So let's go further. Here we have the types of clauses. So in the types of clauses we have two types: independent clause and dependent clause. Firstly, we have to learn about the independent clause. What is an independent clause? An independent clause is a clause that can stand by itself as simple sentence. So that clause which can stand as a complete sentence, which has a subject, which has a predicate, and can behave like a sentence, can present the complete meaning, is considered as independent clause, because for the sake of portraying the complete meaning, they don't have need of any other clause or any other group of words. So that's why they are considered as independent clause. It contains a subject and predicate and makes sense by itself. You don't have to make a relation with other group of words to make the sense. That's why they are considered as independent clause. For example, I'm city of butterfly. So I'm a city of butterfly is a clause because there is a subject I and the predicate am a city of butterfly, and it can stand as a simple sentence, as an independent sentence. He don't need any other group of words to make the sense. That's why it is considered as independent clause. So let's go further. Here we have the second type, dependent clause. What is a dependent clause? Dependent clause is a group of words that contains a subject and a verb but does not express a complete thought. So in second type, dependent clauses are that type of clauses which are containing a subject and verb but cannot express the complete meaning without being attached with the other group of words or other clause. So these clauses which cannot express the complete meaning by their self independently are considered as dependent clause, and most of the time they attach with an independent clause and make a compound sentence or a complex sentence. For example, but a heap of dogs. So a heap, we can say that subject of a log, we can say that a predicate, but it doesn't make the sentence, doesn't make the complete meaning. So that's why it considered as dependent clause. So let's go further. I hope you guys have understand what the phrases and what the clauses are and what are the types of clauses. Here we have a classroom activity, and in this classroom activity you have to use the understanding of the SLO, the understanding about the clauses and phrases, and attempt this classroom activity. So let's go further. Here we have a simulation. This simulation will help you guys to enlarge your understanding about clauses, phrases, and the types of clauses. Let's go further. Here we have a worksheet. Pause the video and attempt this worksheet by using your knowledge of this lecture. So here we have the homework. What you have to do in the homework: choose 5 random sentences and identify independent clause which can be write in the form of IC and dependent clause. So this homework will also check either the SLO is achieved or not. It will also a test of your skill which you have learned in this lecture. I hope you guys have understand the lecture. Here is the resource pack which will assist you to attain the SLO, to achieve the SLO, and definitely will add in your skills or understanding. So let's go further. I hope you guys have understand the lecture. You guys have a very deep understanding of clauses, phrases, and what are their types. If you find any issue, any confusion, you can ask in the comment section and ask from your teacher as well. Thank you very much. Allah.